It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. Modern day menace, poverty stricken. How do these niggas that rap? I'm probably the realest. Dropping the sickness, I'm just minding my business. I drop a pic on the gram, they ask if I'm minding my fitness. I got 'em. Dame Lillard, I ball hard, but I'm overshadowed. Dame Dash, when I call shots, it just cause battles. My Dame flattered, they throwing shots, it just more ammo. I let them talk, then I put the hawk to their bone marrow. I'm from a dynasty, this industry is comedy. My mind is deep as Deuteronomy, you just geometry. Bending out of shape, but it's business all on my plate, yeah. Niggas know I'm great, I'm offending y'all cause you fake, yeah. Smile on my face, but I'm plotting on world domination. No altercations, just alterations in conversation. I ship these niggas quick as Christians with the worldview. Even Jehovah Witness when I swerve through. Yeah, need landmarks on my image, y'all through my village, y'all crossing the line of scrimmage. Hope y'all invested in stitches, yeah. My whole life I've been taking for granted. I've been taking what's granted, now I'm just taking advantage. Dinner place with the salmon, dinner dates in the Hampton. Taking my place cause I planned it, ain't no more ways to distract them, yeah. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there. In this particular video, we're going to be getting into Dame Dash, okay? Super legend. You know, it brings me no joy to talk about Dame Dash's downfall, man. I got to be honest. It's been something that's been coming along for a minute. At one point, it seemed like he was on the upward swing when he was getting into the YouTube space and trying to, you know, get into the commentary space. That was kind of a good look for him, other than the fact that he was kind of, you know, digging his own hole in reference to that Jay-Z situation with the Rockefeller thing. But outside of that, I thought he was on to something. He was supposed to drop his app and all of these different things, but it was just released to the public that Dame is basically going to have to clear out all of his assets. Now, if y'all are not aware, Dame Dash has been in a lot of issues, you know what I mean, in recent years. Most of his issues have been circled around the dispute with, what's his name, Josh Weber. Basically, Josh Weber is a filmmaker that Dame Dash collaborated with. There was a story, I think, that Josh came to the fold with or filmed for Dame, something of that nature. They collaborated. We're going to get into the specifics. And they ended up falling out. Now, in the midst of the fallout, Dame Dash decided to move forward with the film after they fell out, released it, and never paid Mr. Weber his money. And he got sued. He sued him, and being that Dame doesn't have a lot of money in his accounts, he ended up losing his stake in Rockefeller for that very reason, right? Because he had to give up his most valuable assets in order to pay back. Plus, he had back taxes that were looming over his head. So that also became an issue. But even with that being the case, Weber never got his money. So now the judge is basically seizing his remaining assets in order to make good on the little over $800,000 that is still delinquent. Outside of that, he also has another case where he owes somebody money, and they're going to be seizing in on the assets that he owns with his wife. So we're going to be getting into all of that because he's going to be losing his studio. He's going to be losing his, well, I'll just pull up the fucking articles. So over here on allhiphop.com, they say exclusive, judge orders Damon Dash to turn over assets. Damon Dash has been ordered to surrender full ownership of several companies and film copyrights after failing to pay a court judgment exceeding $823,000. Damon Dash must hand over full ownership, blah, 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 to filmmaker Josh Weber and Muddy Water Pictures. The ruling, issued by U.S. Magistrate Judge Robert W. Lehrberger, compels Dash and his company Poppington LLC to turn over control of Dash Films Incorporated, Blue Rock LLC, and Black Rock LLC, along with interest in Lebanon Improvements LLC, Ocean East Improvements LLC, and 1996 Songs LLC. Okay. Dash Films, of course, is the company in which he's been producing films for the last, we'll just say 8-9 years. Blue Rock and Black Rock are two companies that he started in order to launch labels over the course of the last 15 years. I don't know what Lebanon Improvements is, Ocean East Improvements. I'm guessing that's, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to lie to y'all. And 1996 Song sounds like a publishing company. Poppington must also forfeit copyrights to several films, including Honor Up, Too Honorable, which I'm guessing is the sequel, We Went to China, and Welcome to Black Rock. Okay, so now he will no longer own these films, so whatever they produce monetarily will be going to Mr. Weber. It won't be coming to him. Now, Honor Up, this is his flagship film that he's been promoting for the last 8 years or so. Right? 7 years. He recently had struck a deal with BET to have Honor Up shown on TV. And I think he did a deal for his forthcoming films to also be shown on BET. And now he no longer owns the copyright, despite the fact that he had this deal in place with BET, which may cause him to either lose the deal or whenever those films continue airing, the money's just going to go to Weber and Muddy Water Films rather than Dame. Some crazy shit, man. They say the assets will be auctioned by the U.S. Marshal within 180 days unless Dash files objections before June 16th. I'm sure he will. They say proceeds will be used to satisfy the unpaid judgment with any remaining funds returned to Dash. Okay. So just enough to pay him off and whatever else is left over, he'll get back. Okay. Because it was positioned as if he was just losing everything for good. They say this legal blow follows Dash's earlier forfeiture of his 1/3 stake in Rockefeller Records, which was auctioned off but failed to benefit the plaintiffs due to other outstanding government claims, and then the government came in and purchased it. The lawsuit stems from Dash's alleged copyright infringement and defamation against Weber and Muddy Water Pictures. Dash lost the case and was ordered to pay $705,000 for $100 in damages, plus an additional $117,000 in legal fees and interest. The plaintiffs requested the courts to seize additional assets after Dash failed to comply with the original judgment, meaning he wasn't going to pay up, so now they're going to go and take it out his ass. Pause. The judge's latest order gives Dash and his legal team 14 days to provide ownership certificates, followed by an additional 10 days to deliver signed assignments to the U.S. Marshal. Dash's financial troubles have been well documented over the years. He has faced lawsuits over unpaid child support, tax liens, and previous business ventures. In 2019, he told a judge he was broke and unable to pay court-ordered obligations despite his high-profile past as co-founder of Rockefeller Records. The legal battle with Weber dates back to a dispute over the film Dear Frank, from which Dash was removed. Weber later accused Dash of attempting to release the film without permission and making defamatory statements about him online, which resulted in another $4 million lawsuit that ended in a default judgment against Damon Dash. And if this was the end of it, it would be looking bad, but it's not. And again, I grew up looking up to Dame Dash, right? Me and my homies used to do the Dame Dash dance among ourselves. You know what I'm saying? When he had that show Ultimate Hustler on TV, it was, you know what I mean? Like, damn, Dame brought back Pro Kids at one point. You know? He did a bunch of cool shit. it's sad to see him go out the way he has, but he hasn't been the most graceful person along the way. So a lot of people have been looking forward to this downfall. So here is another article with a separate issue. Damon Dash's wife also ordered to sell stake in businesses to help him pay debts. They say the executive has been ducking his punishment for years now. Damon Dash is now bringing other people down with him due to his refusal to pay his debts. Recently, his wife, Raquel Horn, was ordered to sell her stake in his businesses to help him handle all that he owes. Horn maintains 100% ownership of the Dash Group, which includes several of Dash's most cherished businesses, okay? So these are his more recent businesses. You know, his YouTube channel and all the apps and stuff that he was building. People were wondering how he was even investing into them because they were in her name. The home that they live in, I'm sure, is also in her name. So this company holds America New, which is the app and the YouTube channel he was building, his streaming network, CEO by Dash, his website, and his children's book, Dusko Goes to Space. The U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York recently appointed a receiver to oversee the sales according to All Hip Hop. Dash, who has evaded payment for years, is also being required to fully cooperate throughout this process. This includes handing over documents and providing access to company records. This is just the latest domino to fall following the Rockefeller co-founder being forced to auction off his 1/3 stake. We already talked about that. They say here, unfortunately for Edwina Brooks, almost $200,000 of the money made from the auction went to unpaid child support. Okay, so Miss Edwina Brooks also had a lawsuit out on Dame Dash. Okay, she accused him of stealing the storyline out of one of her books and trying to turn it into a film. We'll get there in a moment. Okay, so they say 200,000 went to unpaid child support and about 2 million went to Dame Dash's outstanding tax bill in the state of New York. This left no extra money for her copyright infringement case. Dash owes Brooks $78,000 per a judgment in 2020, and he unsuccessfully countersued the Maffietta writer. This compounds with $100,000 owed for interest and legal fees, plus his ongoing case against Brooks, Josh Weber, and Muddy Water Pictures for a separate judgment related to Dear Frank, which we just talked about. So when you see this 823, all that stuff, that's from the situation we just spoke on. The polarizing mogul is preparing to file for bankruptcy per recent court documents. If he is not cooperative with the court's directives, which have previously been an issue according to his former lawyers, he risks being held in contempt or even being arrested. One silver lining for Dame Dash and Raquel Horn is that Brooks can only obtain the dollar amount she is owed from whatever is made via the sale of Dame Dash Studios. Thus, they could walk away with some profit, okay? So as his assets are sold, they're going to have to make her whole for her $78,000 plus another $100,000, right? For interest and legal. And then there's another $823,000 that they have to break even on as well. And anything else above that dollar amount, that's roughly about $900,000 that he's got to get back through his assets. And anything above that, they'll get to keep. So he may come out with a few bucks. I don't know who's going to buy this stuff from him. I don't know what value they would put on this stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if the state buys this stuff again, because nobody ended up coming through in the auction for his Rockefeller stake either. It's crazy, man. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I'm not rejoicing in his downfall. I'm not dancing on his downfall. I'm not happy about this shit. I'm not proud to talk about this shit. You know what I mean? But This is a cautionary tale, bro. This is somebody who made millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, co-founded and was one of the brain trust of one of the most successful hip-hop labels ever. And he was a child prodigy. You know what I'm saying? He paid for his own way through fucking private school based on his business prowess at a young age. Was on his own virtually from the age of 16 and created one of the top labels that we've ever seen in this shit. Rockaware was his thing, his idea, his company. It was Jay-Z was involved, of course, but he ran the day-to-day. He ran a lot of that shit. Rockaware sold at a later time, you know, after he left. But you just look at all the shit that this man did, helped Beating Siegel launch State Property as not only a group, but also a label. You think about fucking Kanye, it was Biggs and Dame that really gave Kanye the opportunity just to keep him around for the beats. And to see where he is today, I mean, it's all really kind of like ego that brought him down, that thwarted his progress, that kept him stagnant. Once the industry got tired of dealing with his ego and his mouth, didn't matter how smart he was, you know? And I think at a certain point, he began to believe that he was smarter than he truly was. He thought he was bigger than the program. And he's, you know, this past decade or so has shown him the exact opposite. Again, I find no joy in saying any of this, and I hope he's able to bounce back. Now, he was in a dispute with 50 Cent earlier in the year. 50 Cent actually took to his Instagram to wish him well and told him, you know, this is a setback, but get back on your shit. You're a winner. You know how to win. Get out there and do it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if we see 50 and Dame collaborate in some way in the future, because 50 Cent just got his 50 Cent Action app off the ground. That was one of the topics of conversation between them, was to go head to head about their app launches. I wouldn't be surprised if 50 brings Dame in, because Dame has ideas. Dame has film ideas. And he finds ways to get things done. So only thing is, they will probably fall out in a short period of time too, because they both have very domineering personalities, you know. But I'm wishing them all the best, man. And I'm really wishing his wife the best, because she inherited his issues when they got together. You know what I mean? She's been riding. She was co-hosting podcasts and doing content with him and all type of shit. But yeah, I'm wishing the best for her and him and their family as a whole. Because, I mean, who wants to see this shit? Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one, all right? Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. First I'm out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.